How do everybody do today? I'm Brandon Gordon Gab, GabGames.com, and this is Need for Speed Unbound. Oh. Plug up my speaker. Charge up my speaker for my bike ride. Stay active, people. Stay creative. Work your body, work your mind. You know, find peace with your maker. Get spiritually active. Like, how do I get spiritually active? The easiest way is to be thankful for waking up every morning. That's the first way. Just being grateful to wake up every morning. Because we didn't have to. But we did. Be grateful. Be thankful. That's the first way to get spiritually active. Just being aware of, don't count your blessings, but be aware that we're blessed. You know, sometimes it's little things. Might have a shitty day, start off with a shitty day. And you're like, you know, that person smiled at me and held the door for me just because kindness. That's pretty cool. You know, ever had a shitty day and the door smacked you in the face? You motherfucker! Person not obligated to hold the door for you, but the act of kindness is a good one. Get off the ground. First one isn't bad. But anyway. Yeah, 4 laps. It's hot as hell out there. It's supposed to be hot as hell out there today. I'm gonna do 4 laps around 4 block radius, I think. You know, 8 by 4. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's 8 by 4. Because I'm going through 2 lights. So that's 4 and 4. That's 8. 8 by 8 radius. Around my neighborhood on the bike. 4 laps. Hit the main streets. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm in the middle of these 2 main streets. 4 laps. See where I feel. Check my time. Because I might be able to get some more time out of it. Might do like 6 laps to probably be, depending on time, better. Or I can do 4 laps and jump 4 laps regardless and jump my rope. Do my sit-up to push-up routine. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it today. I want to stay in shape. I want to be sexy. Also attractive. You know, but I do want to stay in shape. Like I said, I used to smoke in my previous streams. Dead by Daylight stream right before this one. I used to smoke. Not that I don't. I just don't smoke like I used to. No, I really gave up drinking. I drink every blue moon. Like once a month I might have a drink. Because I'm not an addict. No, as to where you don't need to do it at all. Just not where it's at for me. Right? Just ride through it. It's getting better. It's not where it's at for me. Just what I do. Jump my rope. Exercise. That's a lot of stuff. Still be a junkie. And in these streets, sucking dick for coke. Or selling coke to people that suck dick for coke. But I'm not. Good guy. So book bike ride. Get my exercise on. Smoke weed. My neighbor, she exercised too. She can, you know, seeing her results and her exercising got me motivated to keep doing it. Her sister, you know, like they about that too. So to see their progress, like I'm not the only one out here doing it, keep me motivated. I might come back and lift the weight. It all depends. After my nap, if I'm tired enough to take a nap, see how I feel after I get out the shower. Like, yay. This hunker, man. So take care of your mind, get creative. That's why I like games like The Sims where I can live out my architectural dreams. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That's the ultimate fan fiction creator. Alright, I saw it coming. Dad. It's a spot around here. Perfect. Like riding around there. Chicago drift. Now don't give up, buddy. Tell me your beats here. Thank you.
This is Interceptor. We're still receiving.
Roadblock deployed.
Dispense for getting your ass
This guy's nuts. That's Agent 47 and John Wick. In my universe, police that chase me, Agent 47 and John Wick. The normal blue and white, that's Jackie Chan and Jet Li. They have specific characters, Super Cop, and then the good cop from The One. Jet Li's The One. The guys in the truck is Walker, Texas Ranger, and the Last Action Hero. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Last Action Hero. The detectives is Light Yagami from Death Note, and Conan from Case Closed. Detective Conan. Right, you'd be like, who's chasing me? I gotta be bad. I'm badass enough. Come out on top. Right, you're only as badass as the people around you. Shit. Who's my racing team? I gotta choose the Gab Games to drive. Definitely on my racing team. The guy from the Brood. I think it's the guy, or is it that guy? That's my racing team from the Brood. Gab Games. The Brood. No, that guy is from those guys. The driver is from the Brood. Gab Games, Richmond. On my driving team. They do 5. Gotta go with Speed Racer and the Mach 5. Just gotta go with Speed Racer. Who else? Nah, I got the car from Dominic Toretto. He owed me a favor. Let's see. I'll take Anthony Mackie character from Twisted Metal. And then Frankenstein from Death Race. Jason Statham as Frankenstein in Death Race. That's my driving squad.
All units, we have a visual on the perimeter of Rose Hill Drive. This is dispatch. Roadblock deployed.
Right? Be like, damn, hardcore. Anime racer, speed racer.
Suspect last seen.
I'll take as a car the car in Battle Force, Hot Wheels Battle Force 5, the red car, the lead. I need that on my squad. I need to have Zack Snyder's Batmobile on my squad. If we got the Mach 5, we're gonna need the Mach 6. Rachel's X car. The Aston Martin from James Bond.
All units, we have reports for vehicle.
Which one is it? Spectre. Spectre's car from Twisted Metal 3
All units, that suspect vanished somewhere.
or 2. Be like what's on the cars on the squad.
Suspect was last seen at Uniform.
And the Black Beauty from Green Hornet.
All units, dispatch. Roadblock deployed.
From Green Hornet.
Suspect last seen entering Underwood Garden.
Oh, and I need the GTO from Triple X. I love that car too. Shit. Kira. Well, like Yagami, it's not Kira. And Detective Conan in the black car. Agent 47 and John Wick in that car. Trucks. Walker Texas Ranger. And right there, Walker Texas Ranger and the Last Action Hero. Arnold Schwarzenegger's the Last Action Hero. I know you're probably wondering how I got in this situation. They want me to join their driving force, known as Driving Force Z. I was going to say Task Force, Driving Force A. I want to be a Power Ranger. Oh shit. They act like I can't drive out here. It ain't easy. But Zack Snyder versus Batmobile. As special vehicles, we got like the speeders from Star Wars. Give me the flying Nimbus. Right? Silver Surfer surfboard. We got speedsters like Sonic. Because Jet Li's character from the one brings in a supernatural element.
All units must last seen entering Inglewood Gardens.
Like, how are they so just a little extra, right?
Don't think we can hold out much longer here.
Okay, everyone.
Shit.
This is dispatch. Visual on suspect at Inglewood Gardens.
My God. Thought everybody took them a while. Which gas station? I don't know. Where are we? Our GPS is acting up. Fucking local network. You know, wireless network. Oh shit. I get cut off. I'm driving the hell out of this vehicle. And Bobby Hill, when he was driving the hell out of this vehicle, he's on my team too. Yeah, I'm driving the hell out of this car.
All units you have visual on Inglewood.
Right. Sonic. Flash. Speedy Gonzalez. Dash. Right? That's game mode or just right? Different shoes. Be a different engine. Right? Just to even make it line up within this world. All that for $12,000? I started off at zero.
That rate Spanish. West Coast.
Suspect got away from control.
bicycle. Yeah, I'm gonna go at 1:30 the latest. Get my exercise on. Gaming is just life for me. I could be sitting watching TV, or I could be a part of the action. Get active. April O'Neil and Lois Lane. That's who's in the helicopter. April O'Neil and Lois Lane. Jet Li and Jackie Chan, Super Cop, and Jet Li's character from The One. That Kung Fu Highlander. That's what the One was. It was Kung Fu Highlander. Not necessarily Kung Fu, but karate. Highlander. Ditch the car. All right, new car. They're driving Bumblebee. No, like what? Their shit's made out of they're driving the Turbo Rangers car from Power Rangers. Basically, what's the equivalent of that? Mixed with a little bit of Hot Wheels and a little bit of Speed Racer and Wacky Racers, Twisted Metal. That's our police force. Cars. Power Rangers, Turbo Rangers. Like where we can pull from in the world. Kiss my ass. I've been gaming for years, man. I'm a seasoned gamer. Only thing that don't make me professional is I don't get paid. I've been working on my Vegeta body. My base form Vegeta right now would be, we're gonna go early Z. Then probably by the time I'm 43, hopefully, 44, I'll be end of, Z base form, and I could hold that for the next 8 years. Because I'm short. Right. So, I mean, I can't be built. People keep asking me when I had the weight on me. They're like, because I had slimmed down because I wanted to work on my core. I'm like, to get my abs, I got to bring my body fat percentage a little lower. You know, and I want to be a little thinner. So at this weight I'm at, which would be my max weight, which I 160. 160 would probably be my max weight, given how the weight affects my body. I want to actually have that 10 pounds to be muscle weight. You know, if I could drop down back to 145 and then make, 15 pounds of muscle weight, that might be a little bit better. But max out at 160. Right. 160 looks good on me. Even just if I'm like athletic fit and not muscular fit, you know? Like, your ass eat, but you stay with the cardio. You don't lift though. Right.
I think we have ourselves a racer here.
So that's why I had to slim down. So that way I could eat and lift. Instead of needing to lift, but I can't eat. You know what I mean? Because at that weight, I'll have to maintain that weight and turn that body fat into muscle mass, which means I have to be on a strict diet. As to where going up in weight, I can actually eat on my diet. I don't have to be like, no food for you, sir. Just healthy portions. I can eat and go to sleep. I can eat at midnight and go to sleep. You know, because some people can't eat after midnight. Or they can't really eat after like 9 when they're going to go right to sleep. For me, the whole point is to be able to eat and then sleep like Goku. You know, it's to replenish the body of what it needs, of its supplements. Right, let the body heal itself and repair itself. I know I cut that one short. But so it'll be, that. I really see how Vegeta was a little thin. Like in shape, but he was thin. Be adding on the 10, 15 pounds of muscle gradually over the years. Like I said, I give myself about 4 years during my lifting process. Hold it from 45 to 50, to maintain that form. Then by 50, like, am I gonna try to push it or am I gonna go with it? No? Or am I just going to hold that form until retirement age, 65? Because I could choose to let it go too. Like, you know what? Fuck it. At about 50, fuck it. I'm going to go back to the soft guy. The teddy bear. Right. Just know the older you get, it's not impossible to keep it up. It gets harder to be motivated to do it.
40 and crosshairs.
First, your own self-doubt. I'm too old. I'll never be able to. First, your own self-doubt. And then when you actually get started, there's always a hater around somewhere. You too old. You'll never. They always sound like a bitch. Not in the bitch in the sense of having a pussy, but a pussy having no goddamn sense. So that'll be next, and then it'll just take consistency, making sure you're consistent. A good routine helps with consistency. You know? So know what you want to work on. The first thing I always say is get skin tight. Walk because cardio helps. But squats, push-ups, anything to get skin tight. Why? Because once you're skin tight, then you'll know where you want to be at. You know, squats and stuff is stretching is a good way to be like, here's where I want to work. So you start to slim down, you keep the skin tight, you won't have excess skin, as much as excess skin, you know, because you stay skin tight. Some people just go on a diet and lose, like they lose a lot, but then they're like, it hangs. Like, because you didn't tighten. So now you might need to gain the weight back to tighten the skin. Might know a good surgeon, have money. That's possible too. Nip tuck. But if you're keeping skin tight, you won't necessarily have to. Right. That's the phrase, keep it tight. Stay skin tight. So when you slim down, your skin, that's why sometimes you'll be like, I'm not losing weight. It's because your skin tight. So you still, like, the weight is dissipating, but because you know the body is so tight in the way it's forming, you be like, it don't look different, but you're like, damn, it's completely different. It ain't easy, I'll tell you that. I went from 160 to 143, and then before the winter I was at 145. After the winter I have 150. Now that I'm doing my cardio, I should drop down somewhere between 145 and 147 by the end of the season. So I should fluctuate. My weight right now should fluctuate between 150 and 145, winter and summer. How during the winter, how I keep it tight is up to me. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats, maybe. I do a lot of walking at work, so really up and down the store. Like I'm the Flash. I get my steps in. Gets my steps in. So, to be like, to maintain, right. Winter, you ain't got no choice but to sit, eat a little bit more, and stay out the cold. I might get a gym membership around September. My granny got one. Mooch off of her. Hey, Granny, you been going to the gym? Let's go to the gym. But right now, as far as worrying about gaining over 150, I have to have 2-3 seasons off to be like, and doing nothing but relaxing and eating, to be like, gain the weight. I gotta, right, not do shit and not give a fuck. Right, just get caught completely slipping. So, working on it. Figure it out.
This is dispatch. Suspect has been spotted at Jefferson Hills.
Barely touched. Throwing what's out.
This is Patrol. Trying to get on this one.
Oh shit. Lee!
Dispatch. Go get it.
AWD, first policy.
Shit. Super fast. Oh shit. Try to box me in. Oh.
Dispatch. We're sending more units out there.
Right? What the cars are actually made out of.
Dispatch for the first ones on the scene.
I can't be all this. Yeah.
Streets like can change, dispatch.
So, exercise. 12:37. You could take a poop. If I get out there. Find my outfits. At work, I do my push-ups. Like if I'm behind the register, every time I clear the line, push up. 10 push-ups. The other day I did 200. Yesterday I only got to do 60. It's like, I don't necessarily need you behind the register. I need you to do these things. Like, fine. So, we as a team, Mike, cool. Got your back. Got your back. Roar. Take me a good shit. Get ready for this bike ride. Do 4 laps. Check the time. I want to be out of here. I want to hit that door by 1 o'clock. If I had a bike mount thing, I'd take y'all with me. But I don't. So. Peace. GG. Good game. Gap Games. GapGames.com. Talk about it.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Doing good, Mr. Chat. Doing great, Brandon. Thank you so much for asking. Before we continue, is that okay with you?
I didn't hear what you said. The phone keeps going in and out. Yes. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Not really. Let me adjust let me see if I can make an adjustment on my end. Are you still there? Okay, let's see if that works better. Hopefully it does. Yeah. Professionally right now, my job title is part-time manager. 5 below. General merchandise. Year next month. Before that, I did 5 years in the health field as a home care professional. Maintaining the home, as best I can. I didn't have a certified nurse's assistant, certificate. So that left me away for body fluids and injections and stuff. But I did that for 5 years. 10 years for that was mainly factory work. Factory here, factory there. UPS, a lot of temp agency work, because they paid really good. Yeah, I created 4 LLCs, all based around software development and things like that. Online store, general store, software development. So as far as LLCs, that's what I was doing with that. I have the passion. What I want to do is I want to create an operating system, and I have 21 games in my portfolio. The problem is, knowledge-wise, I don't have the knowledge base to create it, and I don't have the funds to pay somebody to do it. But what I did do was I bought pieces to be like, don't make it obvious. Somebody that do know what they're doing, we have the maturity to create a product. Yeah, I've been gaming since I was 5. As far as something a medium that takes my mind to a different place, a creative place, a positive place. Gaming has always been it. Like a basketball player came and said, I want to play for your team because ever since I dribbled the ball, I knew it was what I want to do. That's me in the gaming industry. But not just for
have these products and you already have a leg in that, right? You have your hand in that, and all those, might as well you learn it. You can add to your LLC, right, into your software development. So, in my opinion, this course is perfect for free. I'm going to go over the course material, and then you let me know if you think the same, okay?
Okay.
Now, you said you've been in games since you're 5 years old. What are some of your favorite games out there right now?
As far as first-person shooter, if you ask me, Respawn Entertainment, they have it. They have the creativity. They have the technical aspects of what makes a first-person shooter feel good in your hand and the game mechanics to actually make it good. The only reason they're not number one on my spot for like the Titanfalls and the Apex Legends is compared to Call of Duty and Halo, they don't have local player split screen.
Yeah.
So that keeps them out of the number one spot. Role-playing game, Final Fantasy 15, open world, great graphics, great gameplay mechanics like Unbound and certain times you can't do this actually walk around with people. And the visual effects that go along with the RPG system is actually really top notch. One combination of first-person shooters and RPG going with Borders. They have wonderful storytelling. They have beautiful worlds, great RPG mechanics, things like that. Niche games. I like games with charms such as Little Nightmares 1 and 2. That's pretty great. Astrobot is really great. I haven't played Splatoon, but Splatoon is one of those games that's like, it looks so awesome and fun. And coming from Nintendo, they know how to make an engaging game. That's why Super Mario is at the top of the list. For what a video game is, to be fun, colorful, a world that draws you in, is all of that. But all the mechanics that the different levels teach you before you reach the final boss at Bowser, where you put it all together. You know, they actually teach you the core mechanics. Right, they teach you the core mechanics of the gameplay. So the muscle memory that they teach you helps you in the final boss battle. Versus some things where it's like, for everything I learned, sometimes it just don't accumulate into something. Right. So Nintendo is great. I just bought that for my daughter. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like, this is a game to play on the big screen, but because I bought a Switch Lite, we don't have the option to dock it. I'm like, oh man. But it is actually really good.
I'm really enjoying the mission that's going on. I mean, I know the all-around character interaction, right? The openness, whatever goes on, I really do.
Right. The Sims, I love the Sims too. They have actual, like the building mechanic on the Sims for what it is. It's really great. It helps me get my creative architectural fix. That's one thing I wanted to go to college for was architectural drafting. And the school I went to kind of messed me over on that. So I never got that experience. They had put me in computer networking. And I actually learned a lot. I could actually make a home network.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You still benefited from it. It's just, you had to pivot.
I did a semester, and I learned how to put together a network in a semester. A home network. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. But
you usually pick up tools really quick, right? Like you self-teach yourself a lot of tools as well, and just
and tutorials and stuff. Yeah, I do a lot of that.
Okay. Question for you, Brandon. Have you ever used Unreal Engine 5?
No, I haven't. The most familiar, I dabbled in Unreal 4 for a little bit. And that's when I was first trying to decide between Unreal and Unity.
Yeah.
What I liked about Unreal, if I wanted to put a character and spawn enemies, I could. You know, that off the back is cool. It's up to you to where you spawn and learning how to go from there. But Unity had the better store.
Exactly. So Unity is a little bit more user-friendly. However, it's limited. Unreal Engine 5 is a longer learning curve, I might say, but it gives you way better visuals, way better options. Right
out the box. It definitely does, right out the box. So now that with a little experience, I learned that I could export my Unity object and take them over to Unreal.
Yeah.
And,
And the reason I mention those, Brandon, is because those are what we're going to be working with. Unreal Engine 5, Unity, Playmaker, Construct 3, Playmaker, as well as going to be using good design like Illustrator, Photoshop, Photopea, and Paint. Okay?
yeah.
Alright, now, like I was saying earlier, right, so you're looking really down to strengthening your fundamentals. You already have a baseline to develop. You have a vision, you know what you want. You know the game, and you want to design these games yourself instead of outsourcing and develop there. So going over the course, right, this course was developed by Steve Young. Now, if you're not familiar with who Steve Young is, he is the lead level designer at Respawn Entertainment. Okay, he'll be the one teaching the course, help you become a game designer. It's 100% live, 7-week immersive and actionable program. Okay. Within this section, we're also going to go into level design. So you can take it a step further by creating basic level design and being able to translate from a 2D layout to a 3D playable space. Narrative in this section is very important. So you will also explore narrative frameworks and techniques to kind of integrate story elements into the gameplay experience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, from this, we're going to production or going down to production. once
And
you
so
have
if you're
that,
working
then
amongst
you
a
follow.
group, it's easy to follow. That's currently where I am in my own like personal growth.
So if you're willing to take the most out of this course, I definitely recommend attending those office hours in that open setting. So if you do, it'll be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Does the schedule work for you?
Currently, it does not. I wish it did. I'm part-time manager at the store I'm at. I'm closing manager though, so
Okay.
that put me right at closing time, really.
Okay.
So I won't be able
Now,
to.
these classes are recorded. We use Google Classroom for them. Alright? Now, Google Classroom is materially recorded for up to a year. Do you think that would help?
Yeah, sure.
For the first last classes with personal feedback, which means the career guidance and certificate of completion that's valid at 2,790. However, right now, there is only one more spot in the early registration phase, giving you a 40% discount. That brings the total down to 1,674.
I'm sorry. Is there a payment plan? Wait, let me.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, we make it so the money's not the issue, right? Have you ever used Klarna before? There's a couple options. One of the options is Klarna. Have you used that before?
Klarna?
Yeah.
Klarna, like Credit Karma? Klarna?
Yeah, exactly. Klarna. Yeah. So what it is I create an invoice for you. And have you used Klarna before or no?
No, but I'm familiar with it a little bit. Yeah, I've heard of it.
There
I'll
you
put
go.
it like that.
Yeah. That's one of the payment options, right? Credit card, debit card, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Apple Pay, sorry. Klarna is one of them. Klarna gives you divide it into 4 payments, right? With interest rate. Well, however, you can also apply